All right, hello everybody. Welcome to today's call. I'm very excited because we have a very special guest joining us, member of a couple of our programs, Kickstart and the Catalyst program, Mark. So thanks, Mark, for agreeing to come on and have a chat with me today.
Thanks for asking me or allowing me. You're very welcome. I'm Mark Hames. I've been dabbling with Amazon for since about 2019. In real terms, I kind of answered what you're not supposed to do is answer a Facebook advert that says that you can make money on Amazon, but kept seeing the adverts and hearing what people were doing and could understand some of the facts behind it. It seemed feasible, so I took the plunge and started to engage with a particular course, and then came across Josh's courses on YouTube and on Facebook as well, and on engaging with that, it was just recognizing that having somebody who had gone before, if you like, and could work out some of the wrinkles was really helpful, because it seemed like a minefield. It seemed possible, yet it seemed like there was, sort of almost like a force field between you and getting there. And still sometimes it feels like that, but recognizing and seeing that people were working through it. And I think one of the biggest helps was getting in the Facebook group with Arbitrage Insiders initially, and then seeing people's progress, and also the fact that folks were sharing and helping each other with different ideas and, how to do this, which shops to go to, and ironing out the problems was mainly the issue. I suppose it's not necessarily the case, but, it's just generational issues do come into place. And one of the big things I think with Amazon is possibly the fact that it's, feels like it's computer based and you've got to be into tech and IT. And obviously, yeah, but I think when they say if you can answer an email, write an email, and basically, do that sort of thing, and navigate around a computer, you can do it definitely. It's you don't have to code necessarily, and there are things that you can do that go far beyond the basics, but the basics is enough. And I'm not a great computer whiz, but certainly I've managed to navigate around. And I think back to when I first saw somebody flashing the mouse around the Amazon Seller Central and thinking, well, there's no way I can even remember how to open it. And then now, years later, yeah, I can get around it, no problem. It only gets easier in a way. It doesn't get, the platform doesn't seem to expand too much, so you can keep up with it. The key thing for me is confidence. And maybe courage is the word. Making courageous decisions, especially with regards to purchasing and buying. When I decided to follow up the advert from Stephen and Josh with regards to the Catalyst program, I was interviewed by Rob Smoliak, and he sort of put it to me, it's really a no-brainer when it came to the investment in relation to what you can actually start to achieve and how faster you can achieve it. So there's time's a big issue, I think, for a lot of people, and I'm certainly finding that the deal vault is quite useful for me, because not only are you getting the deals dropped in, you're realizing and seeing how other people are making the deals and the kind of deals that they're working through. I don't know whether it's necessarily the case, but I found maybe about 6 months ago something changed on the seller app. And they changed the face of the seller app just slightly. Where you went to press to scan things, the scan thing changed slightly. It seemed the prices changed as well, and the amount between our achievable ROI seemed much harder to come by. That was my experience. So
it changed the way in which it was calculated. I think there's another fee that's removable that can be extracted from there, but it's definitely changed. A lot more confusing than perhaps it was before. But
so I kind of found that, for me, restricted my retail arbitrage to some degree. And so I thought I really have, because I hadn't ventured into the online at all. I mean, for two reasons. One was a little bit sort of, like I say, a bit nervous of, the sort of online stuff. And to be honest, I suppose one of the things I really enjoy retail arbitrage, going in the shops, sneaking around. I mean, when we first started, we thought we were going to get thrown out of the shops, because even on your videos, it's like you whispered, when you were scanning them.
Yes, yeah.
But no, I mean, we found that I say we, because my wife and I both love the retail arbitrage. We usually do it together, and if we get a sort of a few spare moments, or let's go and do a bit of scanning, So it sort of started as fun, and I think in a certain sense I've always tried to keep it as fun, because if you get too anxious about it, you think, well, what am I doing this for? But now I'm at the stage where I suppose maybe the change has been that I've taken myself seriously about it, and also realised it's not just a thing on the internet you're not really supposed to do. If your parents found out you were wasting your money on that, and there was always that kind of, I'm being a bit naughty, because it's one of that it sounds a bit daft, but I think those things can play on your mind. And I think, like you said, we were talking earlier about self-talk, and I found some of the information that people give, and some of the books that people have suggested reading. And it's about retraining the way you think. So I think that's one of the things I like about it as well. Sort of starting to get on a bit now, and in real terms, it's nice to try in some senses to keep a bit modern, and to keep up with some of what's going on, because the platforms are changing so quickly, and some people seem to be coming up with new methods for this, that, and the other with regards to all of this.
I think that's a key point as well. Just sorry to interrupt you there, but I think that's one of the things that for me as a coach, and as someone who's been sharing what I've learned over the years, as being a part of the community in Kickstart and more so in Catalyst, we're able to crowdsource so much data and information from all the people. We've got over 600 people in the Kickstart community now, and it's growing every day. And with that, we have a window into so many different businesses, which enables us, again, as the coaches, to feed that back, collect that. And we've been able to, over the years, dispel so many myths, so much misinformation that's out there about Amazon and the challenges and the difficulties and all these alleged hurdles and roadblocks. We've been able to dispel all of those. So I love that you recognize that also, because we've learned so much from our members as well, which we've been able to share back. And it really is very much for a pay it forward community. And we were chatting before, you'd said that in the communities, people sharing and answering each other's questions and helping each other out. So it's not just us here doing that. Of course, we will come in and let you know. But for those that are asking questions in our communities, we'll let you know what our thoughts are. But you've got so much combined experience in those communities. It's potentially hundreds of years worth, all combined together. So very, very powerful for sure. Do you mind if are you happy to share numbers? No problem if not, but you're happy to sort of share what you've been up to in terms of sales on your Amazon account?
I am. They're not great particularly at all. I've kind of let it wane I've just had surgery for 6 weeks ago, and I was aiming. I do my own business, renovating garden furniture mainly, and I've had to kind of let that go because I had to have this surgery it was just a hernia. And so I let my Amazon sort of just drift. I only had one product in there actually, just to keep it going, to keep the fee, paying the fee. And then when I joined this, I thought, right, obviously got the knowledge to kind of get things up and going. So I basically sent some stuff in maybe 2 weeks ago from the deal vault really, and in a certain sense I've started again. I've never really made anything particularly stupendous, but I suppose what I wished in some ways I'd done was kept it separate and just allowed it to snowball. Because I think I would probably have quite a tidy sum now, but to be honest, I did use it. I kept pulling money out for different things. So what I found with it, even if you make a small amount, it's surprising how much comes in. And you can rely on it. So how you decide to use it, really, we used it as a little side income that was helpful for paying for this, that, and the other, and it's been helpful. But now what I'd like to do is obviously try and sort of make it more of a sort of an income, to actually put in instead of what I was doing before. And I think it's feasible to do that. My main success, if you want to call it that, was getting my seller fees, because once I clocked on to the fact that you could get them back, I thought, well, I've been doing it for 4 years, and 4 years is as far as it goes back. Got the documentation together. I got just over £4,000 back on that, which I was quite pleased. And it was that I used to invest for this. So I thought, now I've got that, I'm going to invest into, so it was building on. So I'm doing it very slowly. It's the turtle in the hare.
That's wonderful. Well, I mean, from what you just shared, it's wonderful. It paints a picture of the business model and how flexible it is, at least from my perspective, because what you've said is you were doing it for a little while, and then it was never a full-time income for you, but it was
No.
a side income, and it was able to cover the cost of things in your life that I guess if you didn't have that, you'd had to have otherwise have found the money for. So
Yeah, indeed.
people have different goals coming to this for sure as
Yeah.
well. We have people who are looking to just make just cover their car payment, cover their mortgage payment, have an extra holiday
Yes.
with the family, right the way up to people who want to retire on it and have it as a full-time thing, and maybe eventually outsource everything and chill on a beach in Mexico while it happens. So the beauty of it is that you can do as much or as little of it as you like, and take it as big or as small. And like you said, if life gets in the way a little bit, you can just kind of leave it there.
Yes, indeed.
Catastrophic is going to happen, and you can pick it back up ready, which is wonderful to see happening for you. Just in a window into, I know you said you've been using the Deal Vault, which again, for context, for watching, we have the Kickstart program, which is our flagship online retail arbitrage program, where we teach you from beginning to end. And then Catalyst is more of our sort of done for you. We help you with that, find the deals, coaching and things like that. So what Mark's referring to is we have a Deal Vault where we have a Navy SEAL team of online product researchers, and they find products around the clock that we put into a Deal Vault for our members. So what sorts of products, just sort of broadly, category wise, or anything weird and wonderful that you sold that you've bought that you're excited about?
I hadn't really sort of ventured into cosmetics that much. I've done a few. I mean, I'm quite a TK Maxx fan, so there's always some good stuff in there. But as a retail arbitrage, but certainly on the Deal Vault, there's a lot of cosmetics, and they seem to have really good ROI really, and they were just ones that stood out, and looked at them. And so I've done a few of those, although now I've got to sort of find a different way to post them in, because some of them are coming up as hazmat for you. So, but that's another learning which I knew how to do. So I quite like those kind of things. I mean, one of the things I'm still a bit new in some sense, because I really like getting ungated.
Yes. It's one of the secret cheat codes to the Amazon ecosystem.
And that was another thing I hadn't really. I'd done the auto ungating, and I am ungated in, obviously been sold for 4 years. There's certain levels they seem to let you through just because of your history, but I got ungated for Lego about 2 weeks ago, and it was the first online, the first proper ungating I did, and now I'm which is a bit sad really, because I should have done it ages ago.
Wow. There's no time like the present, but that's amazing. Lego is an incredible brand to resell. We do a lot of Lego in our own business, and
but the process worked. It wasn't such a mystery in the end. Got the invoice in, sent it in, and they said yes, which is I didn't expect it to be that quick. So that process, again, gaining confidence in that, and I think obviously it goes without saying, getting ungated in categories is really the key. To the bigger sort of levels of return, and that's where I'm at. So that's quite enjoyable. Try and get more and more of that sorted. And obviously Catalyst, that was another thing that appealed, was the fact that you get the sort of 5 assistance with at least 5 top brands that you can try and get ungated. And I think try and move that forward quicker is probably the wise thing really, because you can soon regain the money that you've put in, or use it as a loss leader to get the bigger things. So I'm just in the process of working through that now, and I expect to get that done in the next week or so. Just take advantage of that really. Excellent. So I think the Deal Vault as well, the other side of it as well is looking at how it expands, and kind of in my mind I sort of see the Deal Vault as having my own VA. And I know that's where I'd like to get to. When I've heard other people talk about it, it all seems a bit of a mystery, but now I'm sitting, well, actually, already doing it now. So in that sense, having that, people dropping those things in, you can see what they're looking at, you can quickly act on it, and then obviously, possibly really moving it to the stage where you're outsourcing the packing and the picking, as it were. But I mean, again, it's a balance, because I quite like the packing process. And I like retail arbitrage, but like you said, I think there is a point where you can only go so far before you've got to scale and outsource some of it. So I'm making some inquiries, obviously, through the course about what prep centres and what that looks like, and before you know it, you realise you're actually almost sort of doing it. Rather, to say the the deal vault's like having your own VA, and then it's not so complicated to actually send it to somewhere else, get someone else to pack it. And then I think Stephen was obviously talking about, this idea of sort of, moving forward and spending more time using your time. It's learning to use, is it better for me to pack or is it better for me to source? That sort of things. Where am I best to use my time vis-a-vis the bit where you think, well, actually, this is the bit I enjoy, so I'm not going to let go of that. Because of the enjoyment factor as well. It's always been a bit, we've always kind of done it for the sake of fun and enjoyment as well. And
Sure.
don't want to sort of make it all serious.
Well, again, I think it speaks to the flexibility of it all. I know prep is not my favorite thing. I like to buy stock, but I like to research. I know, again, with Rob Dallas, who's also on the team here, enjoys the prep, not so much the research. So it's a flexible model, and you can pick the pieces that you like and do those bits and outsource anything that you don't like. So wonderful. I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate your time. Great to hear how things are going for you. And if you're open to it, we'd love to check back in with you in 6 months and do another video.
Definitely. Yeah, that'd be good. Now I'm worried.
No pressure. All right. Thanks so much.
Lovely. Okay.
See you again soon.
Yeah, thanks.